Welcome to the final Ask Gamedev Community Member Showcase of the year. We've got another amazing group of games to share with you, all created by members of the Ask Gamedev community. For details on how to submit your game to be in an Ask Gamedev showcase, join the community on Discord and keep an eye out in the announcements channel. We'll leave a link in the description. Without further ado, we are Ask Gamedev, and these are the Ask Gamedev Community Games of the Month for December 2020. Welcome back. We make videos on how to elevate your game development and inspire others. If after watching this video you want to continue the game dev conversation, check out the video description for a link to our Discord server. We're now making fresh Ask Gamedev content on all of the major social networks, so be sure to check us out there too. First up on the list is our winner, as voted by the Ask Gamedev community on Discord, Dragon Acres by Wildfire Games. Inspired by games like Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, Dragon Acres is a relaxing farming sim/RPG featuring, you guessed it, dragons. In the game, you run a farm in the land of Dragon Isles. Grow crops, go fishing, go mining, breed, raise and care for dragons, and more. If that wasn't enough, the dragons can even help you farm. The creator of Wildfire Games, Kendall Rust, started getting into game development at the age of 11 using Scratch, and she quickly fell in love with it. As a child, Kendall also loved dragons. Well, dragons, knights, Lego, action figures, and video games, but mostly dragons. Fast forward roughly a decade later, and through Dragon Acres, Kendall has been able to combine both of her passions of dragons and game dev together. This title is being developed by Kendall using Pixel Game Maker MV with additional help from a story writer, a sound designer, a composer, and an artist. Dragon Acres will be coming to Windows and Nintendo Switch in September 2022. Congrats again to the Wildfire Games team. Make sure to add Dragon Acres to your Steam wishlist. We'll have a link in the description. Coming in at a close second, and we mean close, this title was only 2 votes behind, is Gravity Ace by John Watson. Gravity Ace is a retro-inspired 2D multi-directional gravity shooter, aka Cave Flyer. It's a modern reimagining of the classic game Thrust from 1986, a brutally difficult cave flyer that John played constantly when he was a kid. In Gravity Ace, you pilot the Hornet, a small fighter craft with an experimental engine that allows it to warp behind enemy lines. Descend into dark caverns, raid enemy bases, and steal their power cores. We love Gravity Ace because it does such a great job of modernizing a classic. The art, the attention to detail, the game feel. You can tell that the developer really had respect for the classics and was passionate about getting everything right, while adding modern touches. As the cherry on top, the game even includes a built-in level editor. John, the solo developer behind the project, has been a professional programmer all his life and got into game development around 2013. He was inspired to start making games by the One Game a Month challenge. As a side note, if anyone watching is on the fence about dipping their toes into game development, head on over to onegameamonth.com and please check out the One Game a Month challenge. Since then, John has made a lot of prototypes and participated in a lot of jams, but has never released a full commercial game until now. The title is being developed in Godot and has been in development for 2+ years. If you'd like to check it out, the title recently had an early access launch. You can pick up Gravity Ace on Steam, where the game has, as of this writing, a 100% positive rating. This month, we had a ton of submissions, so before we get to the rest of the list, let's have a quick look at some honorable mentions. The Orange Rice by Bear Boy Studios, a cute 2D platformer that gives us the Behemoth vibes. Death Drives a Bus by Tallbeard Studios, a retro puzzler where you play as the Grim Reaper behind the wheels of a bus. Selene, an atmospheric sci-fi platformer. Sign the Game by Lonely Vertex, a trippy runner where you control a sine wave. And Spinny's Journey by Thunder Sparrow, a 2D action puzzle game where you navigate an alien through increasingly complex mazes. Next up on the list, hailing all the way from Prague, Czech Republic, we've got Red Rust from ArtSource Digital. Red Rust is a side-scrolling beat-em-up that uniquely combines fighting mechanics with shooting mechanics. While the title is inspired by the 8-bit and 16-bit hits of the 90s, Turtles in Time comes to mind, it's being developed with a modern player in mind, with an emphasis on story and visual presentation. The art style and fluid animations really caught our attention. The game takes place in the year 1984. You play as Agent Red, a Soviet KGB officer who has been sent to the West on a secret mission. Over the course of the game, she learns to understand her own emotions and the unfamiliar world around her. The title has been in development for just over a year. It's being made in Unity by a team of 5. If you're wondering why the art looks so great, that's largely due in part to the studio's background. For years, the aptly named ArtSource Digital has been producing art assets for indie developers. At some point, they realized that nothing would compare to making their own game, and so their game dev journey began. The team hit the drawing board. They went through a number of ideas and decided on making a side-scrolling shooting game packed with boss battles similar to Cuphead. Soon, Melee was added, and thus their side-scrolling beat-em-up/shooter hybrid was born. To stand out, the team is aiming to pack Red Rust with high-quality 3D animation, bright characters, a compelling story, and lots of boss battles. Look for the title to come out on Steam in 2022. To keep up with the team's development, you can subscribe to their newsletter at redrustgame.com. Moving roughly 2,000 kilometers north, we have the dev of the next game on our list. From Finland, we have Arkan Break by Kisu Arts. Arkan Break is a point-and-click, story-driven game about 2 inquisitors, Arun and Quila, investigating a murder. In Arkan Break, you can play as both Arun and Quila, with each inquisitor equipped with their own unique skills and powers. Explore the atmospheric world, craft alchemical substances, and get to the bottom of the murder. The title was made in Unity over the course of 6 months. It was developed by yet another solo developer on this list, Kisu Arts, who has been working on games as a hobby for the last 10 years. Previously working as the lead for a small team, they've since moved on to make games as a solo dev. Previous works by the dev include Light in the Dark and Tron. You can pick up Arkan Break on Steam today. And last but definitely not least on our list of the best Ask Gamedev Community Member games for December is City of Rampage by Zengiz Tasbulatov. City of Rampage is a 2D beat-em-up game inspired by the classics of the Sega Genesis era like Streets of Rage and Comic Zone. While the title is still pretty early in development, we like the inspiration and we love what we see in the art style and character design. The main characters manage to be memorable while also perfectly fitting the beat-em-up aesthetic. City of Rampage has been in development for almost a year and is being made in Godot. The solo developer behind this project, Zengiz, is a comic artist with no coding experience. Prior to City of Rampage, he had never dreamed of becoming a game developer. It's not that he didn't want to make games, but rather he thought it wasn't possible to make a game alone, or even with a small team without funding. What opened Zengiz's eyes, though, were engines like Game Maker and Godot, and all of the inspiring stories of solo devs who have achieved their goals. City of Rampage is scheduled to launch on Steam in 2021. For now, you can add the title to your Steam wishlist. Thanks for watching. For more Ask Game Dev, check out our previous community showcases or this playlist on solo game development.